Profit, passion, Java. Love or hate the man, agree or disagree with what he does, who he is, how he does it. If you took a step back and took a look at him just as a content creator, ignore everything else. Take a look at him just as a content creator, you realize that there's a couple of things to learn from the guy. I, for one, realized one thing, and this is one thing that I feel as though as content creators, I want us to dwell on when it comes to him. And this is one thing that I realize also ties into a lot of things that explains what he does online. And here it is. Know your target audience. Know your target audience and know it well. And him in particular, he seems to have a very specific target audience that he seems to go for. And that's your 20 to 35 Instagram audience. Now, I say Instagram audience because you realize that from the content that he puts out, let's just look at the format of it. Regardless of where he puts the content on any of these platforms, it's always square, 1:1. It always is in the format of a picture, a video, and a quote. And you can't see it on any other platform unless you're looking at his Instagram timeline, which is formatted so neatly in that way. And all of his content that he puts out is always lifestyle related, what he does, where he's going, where he is, the cars that he drives, the things that he does. It's always a nice lifestyle related scene and content that this Instagram demographic loves to engage with. And that's not a bad thing. We'll get to that. Take a look at as well the content that he puts out on Facebook. On Facebook, we're talking in relation to the Garamumbewe series. Basically, that series, it takes the hot artists that this content audience loves to listen to at the moment. And that's what he puts in front of people. That's what he's sharing with people for them to actually watch and engage with. And he speaks their lingo. He speaks this demographics lingo so well to the point that some of the slang that he says ends up being hot in the streets. It ends up actually being slang that's used. The moment that he uses something that's catchy today, you hear it on the combis tomorrow. You hear it on the streets tomorrow. You see it on social media circulating all over as soon as he says it. And this target market, it loves a trendsetter. And that's why he is. He's managing to tap into that so that this demographic can actually listen, engage, come and see him, come and actually engage with him on these platforms. Now, why is that important? It's because he's putting out the content that this target audience loves so that he draws them in and makes them see the content he needs them to see. Because within his lifestyle content, that's where he also shares his messages. That's where he also shares what he wants people to capture. That's where he also shares his teachings. He gets to format it within this format which he knows his target demographic actually loves to listen to. Take, for example, the video that he shared at the beginning of the year, which was the and basically what he was talking to, who he was talking to in that video was the young audience, which is still hungry and trying to figure out life, where they are and what they want to do. And that's what he was resonating with. That's what he was trying to resonate with. He draws in all of this audience, then directs them towards the content that he needs them to see. He directs them towards YouTube, where his hour-long sermons are. He directs them to YouTube, where you can find his teachings. He directs them to his website, where you can find his ebooks, which he has written, and one-on-one sessions that you can actually do with them. You can get to book them there. So he gets people in through that content, through those platforms where the people that he wants to engage with are, draws them into his platform and directs them to where he needs them to go so that he can be able to share his message. So if you want to look at him as a content creator, then you realize that he uses these social media platforms to capture his audience, sends them towards YouTube, where probably it's monetized, and sends them towards his website, where you have his content, which you can buy, his ebooks, which you can buy, and some of the information as well that you can find there about him and his church. So you get to realize it's a very simple concept of, once you understand your target audience, you know who they are, what engages them, what they love to do, how they move around, what it is that they love to see and do. You get to realize what information to put out, which platforms to pick, and how to format that information in a way that they will engage. And once you have them engaged, then you know how to direct them towards the content which you need them to see. You can get to direct them to your hero content. Now, are there particular things that I think I could add on, which I think I would change if I was him? Well, yes. For one, his production team. Well, for a fact, I know he's got a team. There's no way you can curate and create all of that content if you're just one man. I'm pretty sure at the very least he's got one other person on his team which he works with. And not to take anything away from them, they're doing a stellar job. But their production, he's now at that point where it now needs to be just a notch higher. It needs to be just a bit more polished. It needs to be just a bit more. And also, I feel as though there's now one source of hero content which he hasn't tapped into, and that's podcasts. Because this is one thing that this target audience also seems to, there's now an increasing demand for podcasts from this target audience. And I feel as though he can be able to tap into all of those resources he's putting out on his website, all of the ebooks, and turn those into 30 and 45-minute podcasts. They don't need to be an hour because he already has his hour-long sessions which he does, and some of these videos which he puts out on Instagram TV. But podcasts, 35 to 45 minutes max. And one last thing is that he could tell his story more. I mean, I think we've managed to catch him at a particular point in time, and this target audience also loves a good story to be told from someone. They tend to engage with that a bit more, and I feel as though he might have a really good story behind him which he hasn't tapped into, which he hasn't shared with people, which I feel as though a lot of people can also learn from. Something that he could also incorporate with his sermons and the like. And you know what? This is what I think. This is how I feel. This is what I've captured. And I would really love to hear from you. If you look at him as a content creator, what you feel I've missed, what you think about him, what you think about what he's done. With that, I want you to take this, go out there, and go do